The first professional soccer match in Statesboro, Georgia in more than 60 years. Also happens to be the first ever match in USL's League One as the United Soccer League draws back the curtain on a project that has been years in the making. South Georgia Tormenta FC and Greenville Triumph FC in what should be a terrific matchup in 90 minutes. No hot air in this one, no promotions, no teasers. 90 minutes of football ahead as these two teams are looking to get off to a terrific start in the inaugural game of the United Soccer League League One. Tyler Terrens on hand, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll take a look at these two teams and some major additions or pickups depending on who you are. Greenville, the expansion side, and we'll take a look at John Harks' Greenville Triumph Soccer Club. And when you take a look at some of the players that they've been able to pick up, a lot of recognizable faces from the USL Championship specifically. Dallas J is going to be in goal, the first time that he's been a number one for a long time in his career. Tyler Polak, who helped St. Louis FC to their first ever playoff appearance. Kevin Paulitz, who's been a longtime member of New York Red Bulls as well as New York Red Bulls 2. And, of course, Cole Seiler coming over from Sacramento Republic, going to be holding it down along the back line with his comrades. Meanwhile, on the other side for Tormenta FC, a little bit longer tenured. They've had some opportunities in the past couple of years to be able to put their product on the field. Now getting the chance in the third level of the American soccer pyramid. Lars Eckenrode has proven to be a terrific defender when given the opportunity. Pablo Jara is going to be in between the sticks. Alex Morel coming over from the Tampa Bay Rowdies as well as some appearances in Major League Soccer. A terrific pickup for Tormenta. And then Josh Phelps, the first ever League One signing and returning captain, is going to be holding it down along that defensive line for Tormenta FC, who are coming off a terrific 2018 season where they won their conference. But all of that changing in a new league and in USL's League One from Irk Russell Park here on South Georgia's campus, as it is a historic day for the sport of soccer in this country. Greenville Triumph and Tormenta FC in the first ever game in USL's League One.
A sports injury can stop you in your tracks. At Optum Orthopedics, our specialized physicians and staff use advanced orthopedic procedures with one specific goal in mind: to get you back to you. If you have a sports injury, request an evaluation. Experience the Optum difference.
Opening kickoff in USL League One, just moments away from Irk Russell Park on the campus of Georgia Southern University. Tyler Terrens on hand, and we'll take a look at the starting 11 for both John Harks' Greenville Triumph and John Millerasi's Tormenta FC. Beginning with the visitors, the expansion team. John Harks, no stranger to building a club from the ground up. He was the first ever coach in the history of FC Cincinnati, and look what monster that turned into, who's now performing extremely well at the Major League Soccer level. We'll take a look at the starting 11 for John Harks, as we mentioned before. Dallas J, Kevin Paulitz, Cole Seiler, Tyler Polak holding down the back line in what looks like a 3-5-2 for John Harks. That's what he said to us in our conversation earlier this week. Paul Klaus, who was terrific with OCB when they were in the USL Championship in 2017. He's going to be pulling the strings along with Walker and Jake Keegan in the middle of the field. And then it's going to be Cam Saul and Gaderi up top. We'll switch hands a little bit, and we'll head over to Tormenta and their starting 11 for John Malorisi. And when you take a look at his starting 11, very similar to Greenville in the sense that there's a lot of experience, and you throw in some youngsters as well. Alex Morel is one to keep an eye on, number 14 for Tormenta. He was a terrific pickup. Micheletto is going to be running it straight down the middle of the park. Chris Hellman, the German, is going to be running out on the flanks. And then Lars Eckenrode, St. Viel, and Josh Phelps, the first ever signing in League One history. And then, as we mentioned before, Pablo Jara, the 24-year-old from Santiago, Chile, is going to be starting in between the sticks for John Malorisi, who was actually a Georgia Southern keeper from 1996 to 1999, as it looks like our head referee, Amin Hadzic, is almost ready to go. As we mentioned before, the first professional soccer game in Statesboro in more than 60 years, as this community has been starving for some high-level professional football for a long, long time. Greenville in their all-white kits tonight. And just getting some quick touches in for Greenville is Jake Keegan, 27-year-old from Stormville, New York. Last seen with St. Patrick's Athletic, where he had 32 appearances and 9 goals. Also made some appearances with Galway United, Darmstadt, Jersey Express as well. And he was the all-time leading goal scorer for the Binghamton Bearcats in New York, as it looks like we are ready for some League One soccer, finally. And we are officially underway from Irk Russell Park and in the USL's League One. Greenville Triumph SC in their all-white kits, Tormenta in their all-navy blue as well as their pink. And away we go. Trying to battle his way through is Cam Saul. And a good sliding challenge in the middle of the park, and it falls right to Alex Morel, former Tampa Bay Rowdy in the USL Championship. Good challenge on the other end from Sam Gaderi, who was getting back for defensive responsibilities, and the throw-in one by Greenville, who of course led by John Harks, the 52-year-old from Kearney, New Jersey, and Hall of Famer. Mentioned before, coach of FC Cincinnati, got them up and running and turned that soccer-crazed town into really a beast and one of the standards in the United States. Of course, his terrific run with the U.S. men's national team and all the success he had as a player, as Chris Bermudez, who John Harks mentioned, is an electric player out on the wing. Bermudez taken down, but I mean, Hadzic not interested. And Tormenta clear it away. With a deep throw in for Greenville. John Harks really happy with the way the preseason has gone, says that his group just loves to play, loves to fight. They bring it every single day in training. And here's Bermudez trying to get to the outside. Nice little stutter step, but Shepard out of play. And a goal kick coming for Pablo Jara. And of course, Tormenta going to be playing their opening season in USL League One right here at Irk Russell, but ground was broken on their new soccer-specific stadium that's going to sit about 5,000 on Wednesday. And they could not be more excited to be able to have not only somewhere to play, as Alex Morel might be in on the other end. Good ball sent forward. Morel looking for options. Evan Lee defending. Nice little ball through. Sliding challenge coming in. And it's courtesy of Cole Seiler, the 25-year-old from Anderson, South Carolina. And the first corner in the history of League One will come in the form of the home side, Tormenta. Pace of Alex Morel, extremely difficult to deal with. John Malorisi actually saw him in a Charlotte Independence Tampa Bay Rowdies Eastern Conference matchup in the USL Championship last year, and Morel just came on and completely changed the game, as the corner is straight from the training ground, but goes straight over everybody's head. Josh Phelps collecting for the home side. And Tormenta trying to cut it back, and there was a little bit of contact that came in. Not too much. Sam Gaderi was defending. And Greenville will be able to move up and out. John Malorisi saying on this Tormenta organization, a group that's committed to winning and doing things the right way, and it was extremely easy to get behind that. Spent some time as the head coach at UNC Pembroke in 2016, as well as King's University in Tennessee, Covenant, John Brown University. He's made a number of stops specifically at the college level, as well as the coach of PDL side Southern West Virginia Kings. Strong hitter at the back from Eckenrode. Pollock picks it up. Bermudez, just 19 years of age, from Union, New Jersey, not too far away from where his head coach John Harkes grew up in Kearney. Actually spent some time with Pachuca in Liga MX. As well as the New York Red Bull Academy from 2015 to 2017. 8 goals and 28 appearances with the Academy. That's proven to be one of the very best in the United States over the years. And Tormenta win possession back in the form of Neil Vignals. Cole Seiler wants an option, now going to distribute out of the back. And it's a picture-perfect ball the other way. Cam Saul trying to bother Lars Eckenrode. See Pablo Jara just letting everybody know to settle down a little bit. Obviously nerves playing a huge role. Historic event being the first ever game in a new league, and when asking John Meloresi, he said not something that we necessarily have thought about, but obviously something that's going to come into play. And he said, ask me about 10 minutes before kickoff and I might give you a different answer, but he was very candid in saying that it's something that we really haven't even mentioned to the guys. Meanwhile, on the other side for John Harkes, and asking him about what it's going to be like playing in the first ever game in a new league, he said, well, it's definitely something that we have mentioned to the guys, so it's interesting to see the coaches and how they're addressing the situation. John Harkes just made it very clear to not necessarily play the occasion, but rather just play the game, because at the end of the day, it simply is the beautiful game in 90 minutes, something that these guys have done thousands of times throughout their careers. And Amin Hodzic is going to bring that one back. A free kick for Tormenta. Great piece done by Tormenta in USL, just featuring this club and what they're going to bring to the USL League One table. And they actually had the League One Cup here in Statesboro, and team president Darren Van Tassel said, I know they just want to show off the cup, but wouldn't it be easier if they just left it here? Obviously very confident in his team's first season in USL League One, but plenty of room to be confident, especially with the success that they've had in the past and all the support that's been behind this club. And again, it's Sammy Gaderi who's coming back and fulfilling his defensive responsibilities. Not the first time we've seen him do that tonight. Cam Saul running out of room, and it goes right back for Tormenta. As you can see, not necessarily a true rhythm established in this game yet. Both teams still trying to figure out just exactly what they're going to look like. You might not even know by the end of these 90 minutes or even after the next few weeks, but it certainly will unfold over the course of this 2019 inaugural season. There's Alex Morrell in the middle of 3 different Greenville Triumph players. Goes out wide. And a long-range effort that's blasted over. And the Greenville Triumph supporters who have made the 4-hour drive or so. Chris Hellman know how they feel, and here's a look at some of the outstanding supporters from Tormenta. Dallas J descended away, 25-year-old from Danville, California. Spent last year with Phoenix Rising FC, who were led by Didier Drogba. Got to the USL Cup final, fell short to John Hackworth's Louisville City FC by a score of 1-0. Luke Spencer with the game winner. But Dallas was more of a 3rd or 4th string keeper under then interim head coach Rick Shantz. But since Rick has dropped the interim tag, and Dallas has found a new home. And John Hart saying that it's a very interesting situation, as that is a really tough challenge. And going down hard was the 19-year-old Chris Bermudez. Putting in the challenge was the Haitian Jerry St. Ville. Graduated from Palm Beach Atlantic, and he's actually appeared for the Haitian 18 and 21 teams. Let's see if he gets the call up for Haiti in the Gold Cup this summer. Haiti actually finishing in 1st in the CONCACAF Nations League qualifying segments. It's got them berthed not only into the Gold Cup and into League A, as there was a slew of USL players that were representing their country in the most recent international break. Good set piece opportunity now for John Harkes' team. Paul Klaus standing over it for Greenville, as is Tyler Pollock, the lefty. Put it down quickly. Pollock bends one in. It's a good ball, asking lots of questions of the Tormenta defense as it pinballs around. Dallas J on the other end, and now Pablo Jara claiming that it should have been a Tormenta goal kick. Instead, it'll be a Greenville corner. In swinger. Dealt with initially by Tormenta, straight up in the air. Still loose and finally cleared away. Much to the pleasure of the Tormenta faithful. And it goes all the way back for Dallas J. And John Hart saying that he's certainly going to have to step into a different role than he's been used to over the past couple of years, where he has not been the #1, but he is going to be his go-to guy for the foreseeable future. He's made some appearances with the Guam national team. Played his college ball at University of South Florida, as well as Xavier. And spent some time with FC Cincinnati, and that's exactly where John Harkes knows him from. Alex Morrell. Greenville swarming the ball whenever they have the opportunity. And the Triumph will play out of pressure in the form of Evan Lee, 25-year-old from Toledo, Ohio. Spent last year with the Richmond Kickers, but of course the Kickers now going to be in League One. As this one bent in and difficult for Jara, and he ends up making the save. It was an awkward ball. But the Chilean and former national champion with Wingate University making the play. Jara was a 3-time All-American with Wingate. And of course that gets my producer Ryan Rose out of his seat for a moment, his alma mater. Class of 1963. I'm just kidding, class of 2000. Tormenta patient with possession. Knocking on the door of the 15th minute. Still looking for that real good quality chance that'll have one team salivating and wanting more, and another having to answer some questions that the opposition is asking. But we'll certainly get there with these two teams that are starting to shake off the nerves a little bit and settle into the game. Comes the press again from Greenville, and that's what John Harkes told us in our conversation with him earlier this week, is that they want to be an exciting team, pressing high, going to win the ball. And especially in this three-back system, they have a lot of numbers to go forward. Those wing-backs are going to be essential in terms of their defensive responsibilities, especially on the weak side, but also moving forward and getting involved in the attack. There's Chris Bermudez, who's cut inside. Got it away by Phelps. And pushed out wide for Dalton Pando. Pando, nice little cut, going for the curler. And it was blocked in front before it could get any further by Kevin Paulitz, and Evan Lee will send it away, but that was a good-looking move from Dalton Pando, the 23-year-old from Sacramento. Came up to the San Jose Earthquake and Real Salt Lake Academies. The Australian Josh Phelps, 26 years of age, and he's been with Tormenta since 2017, the captain through and through. Getting some oohs and ahs for his skill over on the far side of Irk Russell Park, here on the campus of Georgia Southern University. Lee nods it away. And Dallas J needs to get rid of it quickly. Drawing the foul was Charlie Dennis, and Tormenta will restart quickly. Dennis, 23 years old, from Brighton, England. Played a role with Nashville last year, and Nashville, of course, picking up a lot of pieces for this new USL Championship season, including Golden Boot and single-season goal-scoring record breaker Cameron Lancaster, as well as Daniel Rios from NCFC, as this one sent across, difficult for Greenville to deal with, and then eventually muscled away by the Triumph back line and Cole Seiler, as Tormenta are starting to find some pockets and especially space over out on the wing. Here's Dennis. Morel just bumped off the ball enough to be bothered in his distribution. Here's Bermudez now, and a terrific sliding challenge from Aaron Walker. Pardon, that's Neil Vinyals, 22-year-old from Barcelona. Comes out wide for Pando. He whips in an early delivery. Ricardo Gomez will go negative. Dennis was able to get around Polak, but couldn't quite keep it in play. Another look at that challenge from Neil Vinyals, product of Winthrop University. Terrific defensive stuff. Evan Lee keeps it in play. Cam Saul trying to stay on his feet. Now it's with Bermudez. Bermudez, that's terrific. Still with it. Taken down, and a free kick right at the edge of the area. Chris Bermudez put the moves on. A little bit of nutmeg with that dance, and now a dangerous set piece opportunity for the visitors. tell you what, the 19-year-old not lacking in the confidence department whatsoever. Going straight at this Tormenta back line. Take another look at that sauce. See ya. Well, Dalton Pando, who dished it out earlier, has got to be able to take it. And now Tormenta need to be able to deal with this set piece. Or it could be the first goal in USL League One history. Whipped in, and doesn't get past Ricardo Gomez. Wasn't a bad idea from Gadara to try to bring it down. It was actually a great first touch, and Tormenta cleared their lines. Here's Vignals, still with it, somehow getting through 3 different Greenville Triumph defenders. And then coming to the rescue for the visitors is Kevin Paulitz, 23-year-old from Marlboro, New Jersey. She was born in New Haven, Connecticut. Played with John Harkes' son at Wake Forest University, Ian. Cam Saul trying to hold things up for Greenville. One back by Phelps and company, and they'll go all the way back for Hara. As we have played 20 minutes in the inaugural USL League One season. 0-0 between Greenville and Tormenta. A couple of quarter opportunities, won't even deem them half chances. Probably the most exciting play thus far was the Dalton Pando cut-in and curler attempt that never got past Kevin Paulitz in the Greenville back line, but the chances, I'm sure, will start to unfold as the game progresses. So that one's out of the reach of Cam Saul. Charlie Dennis working on Polak, 2 seasoned veterans there. It's a great ball through, and now Tormenta are in business. Micheletto still with it. Great shot on goal. Dallas J makes the save and cleared away. First true save that we've had tonight. Pablo Hara made one earlier, but it was more of a cross that turned into a shot that Hara needed to deal with. Dallas J with strong fists at the back for Greenville. This one sent over the top. Hellman onside. Takes it on the first time. Jay needed to make the save, or did he? It looked like it might be going out of play. And Jay having a word with the assistant referee as him and the entire Greenville back line thought that the offside flag should have gone up. And from our vantage point, it certainly looked like that might be the case, but we'll take another look at that opportunity on the other end for Micheletto. And this was a stinging effort after that great ball from Charlie Dennis. Jay, I'm sure, just thankful that that was right at him rather than angled a little bit more towards the back post. Kept in by Bermudez. Aaron Walker. Trying to get it in for Saul again. Sort of the point striker for Greenville, looking for him to hold up play and connect the dots. Now Evan Lee has to do a lot of work with Alex Morel hot on his trail, and Lee will just send it away and seed a long throw-in. Jay Keegan, and he is drilled over on the far end line, and it's a clean challenge, says Amin Hadzic, as Josh Phelps went shoulder to shoulder into that challenge. Both teams sporting a 3-back system. Tormenta's more of a 3-4-3. As this is scintillating build-up play from Tormenta. The final ball was just out of the reach of Alex Morel. Here's Pando. Two number 7s going at him with Chris Bermudez. Excellent wingers, both in their own rights, and it'll be a goal kick for Dallas J in Greenville. John Harkes was more of a consultant than anything with this Greenville Triumph project in the beginning. As Chris Lewis was talking with the league, and Joe Irwin obviously was involved, and Chris reached out to John Harkes and asked him if he could pay him a visit and they could just sort of chat about this whole thing. And it was actually at John Harkes' daughter's Clemson women's soccer spring game where they had a 4-hour conversation about Greenville and bringing a professional soccer team, and lo and behold, it ended up being John Harkes who would take the head coaching position. Just a great story, and I'm sure John Harkes' daughter is pleased that there was business conversations being had, as there's a challenge right at the edge of the area, or was it in the box? It's right outside, and it is going to be the first ever yellow card in USL League One history, and it's distributed to the Haitian Jerry Saint-Ville. And now which set-piece specialist on this Greenville roster is going to have a go from about 18.5 yards out?
A yellow card has been issued to number 20, Jerry Saint-Ville for Tormenta.
There's another look at the challenge that was put on by Keegan, and Keegan, who didn't get the call just a few moments ago over on the far touchline, very happy with the decision now, and the question becomes who's going to take it. Chris Bermudez looks to be having a very, very good look at goal. You have to imagine it'll be either Bermudez or perhaps Aaron Walker, it looks like, is in the mix as well. Paul Klaus is nowhere near it. Jake Keegan also in the conversation. Let's see if he has the final say. Pablo Haro waits. A little bit of trickery. It'll be Walker, keeps it low, straight into the wall, loose in front, and the shot just over the bar. Oh, it was awkward from the get-go, just in terms of how Greenville approached it. Bermudez hesitated. It ended up being Walker. Well, that would have been a rather anticlimactic first goal in USL League One history. I'm sure Greenville will take it any way that it'll come. But it was such a bizarre-looking play just from the start. There was the initial trickery, and Walker never got it up and over the wall, but almost ended up working out extremely nicely for Greenville. Pollock throws it back in. Saul wins it. Puts the brakes on beautifully. Cleared away by Tormenta, but they're going to concede a corner kick in the process, as the Tormenta subs are just staying loose in the technical area. Be another in-swinger. Lofted towards the back post. Har off of his line. It comes with a really strong fist. And then the acrobatic stand-up from Josh Phelps after the fact. Tell you what, that was really impressive on the part of the Queensland, Australia native, Josh Phelps. As it looked like Hara might not be able to get to this one, but got an overdue fingernail that needs to be cut to it. Or it actually might even come off of Phelps' head. Here comes the long throw in. Lee tried to win it. It's Phelps again, who's just been towering over everybody. Another long throw in for the visitors. Lee gets it along, and nobody at the back post for the triumph. We'll do it one more time, as Tormenta have had a lot of problems to try to solve over the past 90 to 120 in seconds. More defending to do for the home side. Crowd trying to play their part. Corner whipped in a bit more pace. Hara again gets a fist to it. How confident has he been off of his line? Always gives your defenders that much more confidence when your keeper has the confidence and the swagger to be able to step off the line and claim those aerial balls that are so incredibly hard for the back line to deal with, especially when they're coming in with that much pace. Or if it's a throw-in when they're coming in that flat. Either way, such a weapon to have a confident keeper. Nicoletto gets ahead to it for Tormenta. Another deep Greenville throw-in. Good battle between Cam Saul and Jerry St. Ville. And it's St. Ville who wins that particular mini battle. And a goal kick coming for Pablo Hara. And now Tormenta can sort of take a deep breath after what's been a rather stressful 3 or 4 minutes. Dennis playing a little 1-2 with Chris Hellman. Great first touch from the Spaniard. He switches the point of attack yet again. Positive first touch from Phelps moving forward. And it's all the way back for Dallas J. Select is the official ball supplier of the USL League One and many of the finest leagues in the world since 1947. Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com. The New Jersey native Bermudez again cutting inside. Keegan. Now with Walker. Trying to spin his way out of trouble, being hounded by Nicoletto. Walker still with it. Nicoletto still in hot pursuit, wins it back. That's a great battle won by Tormenta. Now Morel sent the other way, and look at Dallas J off of his line. And both keepers have been in their own right superb. Neither of them have seen copious amounts of shots, but just their play coming off of their line and being confident, as we talked about before, has proved to be vital. Pollock's looking for an option. Aaron Walker, as well as Klaus showing him one. Pollock trying to get there on the other end. Keeps it in play. Was he taken down? I mean, Hodzic says no. Dennis just stands up Jake Keegan. Carrying the ball about 30 yards out of trouble, still with it. And Chris Hellman will settle things down, but how about Charlie Dennis and his ball carrying capabilities? Bermudez, it's deceptive, still with it. Bermudez, was he taken down again? I mean, Hodzic not interested. Morel. And now Hodzic will bring it back, and John Harkes is not happy on the Greenville touchline. There were a couple of questionable tackles on either end, and it appeared that Hodzic was just going to sort of let the sequence go with all the physicality that was involved. Here's Paulitz, creeping into Tormenta territory. Big switch from Gaderi. Dennis stood up by Polak, and a goal kick for Tormenta. John Milleracey marking out instructions from the Tormenta technical area, and when I asked him what he wants this Tormenta side to look like, wants to try and dominate possession, be pragmatic, but recognizes that they are dangerous on the break. They have a good balance, they accelerate the game, and saying that you can get them in a lot of different ways. They actually went unbeaten in their preseason matches. As here's Jake Keegan on the other end, and Jake Keegan was not too far away from the first ever goal in League One history. Showing great pace and acceleration, speaking of. And a brief glimpse of what the all-time leading scorer in the history of Binghamton University can do. You saw Pablo Jara was intrigued, to say the least, that he might be able to get a fingertip to that. Smart play from Gaderi. And Bermudez is going to be told to bring that back. Nicoletto. Bermudez got a neat little touch to it. Now it's Cam Saul, and he's wrapped up by Lars Eckenrode. And a free kick now for the visitors. A couple of beasts in the back for Tormenta FC, and Lars Eckenrode and Josh Phelps both standing well over 6 feet. They go quickly. Bermudez clips it towards the back post. Free header. Not that free. Dealt with appropriately by those beasts we were talking about in Eckenrode and Phelps, as Cole Seiler was trying to sneak his way in amongst the Giants. There's one thing that you can say for Greenville: they will keep you on your toes when it comes to the set pieces, even a simple hit from 18 yards away has had some sort of spice added to it. John Harkes and his coaching staff spending time in the set piece laboratory, cooking up some magic to try to catch the opposition off guard. Pollock wanted to go on the first time, cut out by Dennis. It could be problems now for Greenville. Morrell was a bit too cute in trying to connect the dots. And as a result, cost possession back up to Greenville. Tormenta, of course, founded in 2015. Their first season was in 2016. First ever game for this club that's now headed by John Malaresi was against the Carolina Dynamo. Their first ever win was against the Charlotte Eagles. Finished first place in the Deep South in 2018. However, they lost in the conference semifinals. They got to the second round of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup last year, beating the Myrtle Beach Mutiny, who they actually poached a lot of players from, who folded during the offseason. Ended up losing to the Charleston Battery by a score of 1-0. $30 million soccer-specific stadium set to go up next year. They're hoping to get there for their home opener, but are more than happy to share Irk Russell Park. But when they build this new stadium, it's also going to be home to the Georgia Southern men's and women's soccer team, as well as an orthopedic branch, training facilities, offices, you name it. It is going to be a temple dedicated to the beautiful game. Both teams, I'm sure, wouldn't mind heading to the dressing room with a 0-0 scoreline right now, still trying to figure out what they look like, what the opposition looks like. And as a result, the quality hasn't dropped, but the tempo has dropped a bit. No quality there from Neil Vinyals as he gives it away. Greenville looking to counter. Tormenta doing a great job of getting numbers back behind the ball. You've seen that in the opening 42 minutes. Both of these teams, when they do give it up, it's a full-on sprint to get numbers behind the ball. And especially in three-back systems where you can get exposed if you're throwing numbers forward, there is a real commitment to defend. I have a feeling these two teams are going to be right there at the end of the season. 10 teams in USL League One. Top 4 will move on to the playoffs and duke it out for the first ever USL League One Cup. Here's Hellman. Morrell gets it away. Won by Seiler. St. Ville. Now options, and of course the Greenville technical staff is going to love that defensive posture. No options for Tormenta going forward as we are knocking on the door of halftime. A scoreless first 43 minutes and 50 seconds in the history of the USL League One. And we'll take a look at the rest of the league and the other 8 teams and introduce you to them and what they're going to be about at halftime. So make sure you stick around as we have some great content. Not only taking a look at the other members of USL League One, but also the groundbreaking on Wednesday for that soccer-specific stadium we mentioned. That's going to be ready to go, hopefully, by early 2020 for Tormenta. Here's Alex Morel again, cutting inside. A second touch is a heavy one, showed way too much of it in the end to Paul Klaus, who was back for defensive responsibilities, but it'll stay with Tormenta. Been a really clean first half. I doubt we'll have anything more than a minute or two. We might not even have any stoppage time at all. Rumblings down pitch sides are 1 minute.
Is that him?
And we are going to have just 60 seconds added on to this first half at the minimum. Or perhaps we'll just have 20 seconds. That'll bring the first half of USL League One history to a close. And the scoreline the same from when we started League One, 0-0 between Greenville Triumph Soccer Club and the home side Tormenta Football Club. As John Harks' side were unable to find a breakthrough. They did have some decent looks. Meanwhile, on the other side for John Meloresi and Tormenta, they challenged Dallas J one time in particular, and that came from Marco Micheletto. But neither team finding the back of the net, and we're still waiting for that historic first goal. Go grab a drink, beverage, snack, whatever your heart desires. The beautiful game has come to a halt, at least for 15 minutes. We'll step aside, 0-0 here at Georgia Southern University.
For tonight's halftime entertainment,
A sports injury can stop you in your tracks. At Optum Orthopedics, our specialized physicians and staff use advanced orthopedic procedures with one specific goal in mind: to get you back to you. If you have a sports injury, request an evaluation. Experience the Optum difference.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will now be drawing for tonight's Chi-O Make-A-Wish Foundation raffle. The winning ticket number is 325035. Again, the winning ticket number is 325035.
Welcome back to Eagle Field here at Georgia Southern University here in Statesboro as Tormenta and Greenville 0-0 at the half. And while Tormenta are currently here at Georgia Southern, they won't be here for long. Groundbreaking on their new soccer-specific stadium happened this week. It actually happened on Wednesday. And obviously you're going to save a little bit of the rubble, and what's been going on with this Tormenta side is truly, truly special. An organization that, as John Malaresi told us earlier, is just, committed to winning, doing things the right way, and how it's been so easy to get behind. And as you can see, the following has been terrific. It is a $30 million project that is not only going to be home to Tormenta Football Club, but it is also going to be shared with the likes of the Georgia Southern men's and women's soccer team. There's going to be parts of the facility that are dedicated to Optum Orthopedics, offices, training facilities, you name it. This facility is going to have it all, and it is just an ode to the beautiful game and everything that it has to offer. And with that, we'll take a look at what's on the horizon for Tormenta FC. And, well, they have some difficult games ahead in their first season in League One, and everybody's first season in League One, as they're going to take on a staple in American soccer, particularly in the lower divisions, FC Tucson, as well as, of course, Richmond Kickers, who have been in the USL and USL Championship for however long, but they are now going to be competing in USL League One, OCB, Chattanooga Red Wolves, and then they're going to take on FC Tucson twice in the month of April. So difficult times lie ahead for John Malaresi's side, but they are more than ready, and they had a terrific preseason as they're looking forward to the challenges that lie in front of them. And on the other side for John Harkes and Greenville Triumph Soccer Club, here's a look at what they have going on in the coming weeks and in the next month or so going into May, as they're going to be taking on Lansing Ignite FC on April 6th. That's going to be their home opener, and they're going to have a 3-game homestand after opening their USL League One account and their account in general as an expansion side here at Georgia Southern University, taking on the likes of Richmond, Forward Madison, North Texas, as well as Chattanooga over the coming weeks. But it should be a terrific month of the inaugural season of USL League One. And we are moving right through the halftime show. And at the moment, 0-0 between Greenville and Tormenta FC. Do not go anywhere, as we have lots more ahead, including second half kickoff.
Like, to me, this is high. That's high to me. Huh? Yeah, this side is high. Look, you don't see it? Huh? So no, I mean, I'm at my. Fucked up to me.
Just a young guy with a quick fuse. I was uptight,
Got it?
wanna let loose. I was dreaming of bigger things and wanna leave my old life behind. Not a yes sir, not a follow up. Hit the box with the mold.
Hey, do me a favor. As I'm doing this, can you?
USL headquarters, as always, coming out and breaking out all the stops when it comes to just sort of recapping everything that's gone on with this terrific, terrific organization and the launch of League One. And of course, you saw at the end of that timeline getting sanctioned by U.S. Soccer, third division in the American Soccer Pyramid, that beautiful, beautiful triangle, and the 10 founding members that are competing in the inaugural season. And here is a list of all 10 of those teams, 2 of them competing right here at Georgia Southern University and at Irk Russell Park in Greenville, and South Georgia Tormenta FC, OCB, coming from USL in 2017 when it was the USL. Now, of course, the USL Championship. Richmond Kickers dropping down from the USL as well. FC Tucson, that's the Phoenix Rising affiliate. They've been a staple in American soccer for a number of years, specializing particularly in developing great, great talent. You think of the likes of Aaron Long, reigning MLS Defender of the Year. And then a look at what's going on in the opening weekend of USL League One. Richmond Kickers and Lansing Ignite. Chris Makoviak's going to have that call tomorrow. North Texas Soccer Club and Chattanooga Red Wolves. Chattanooga has a terrific following of the beautiful game, and OCB and FC Tucson as well. 0-0 at Georgia Southern University. We're going to step aside one more time, but when we come back, second half kickoff and the conclusion of the inaugural match of USL League One. Do not move a muscle. Almost set for the second half kickoff, and we'll take a look at what went down in the first half of USL League One play. Again, I'm Tyler Terrence. Thank you so much for joining us on this historic, historic night for the beautiful game in this country and for the United Soccer League. First half between South Georgia Tormenta FC and Greenville Triumph SC. And in the opening moments, a lot of nerves, and nerves sometimes mean adrenaline, and adrenaline means that for Charlie Dennis. However, both teams would start to settle in. Tyler Pollock with a dangerous ball that was dealt with, well, let's not just say all that aesthetically pleasing by the Tormenta back line, but they were able to come away unscathed for the entire first half. Spoiler alert if you're just joining us, there were no goals in the first half. And we'll continue to look at the scoreless play, but there were some chances here and there for the two teams. About halfway through the first half, we hadn't really had a true chance, but all that would change once Greenville would start to find some momentum and some confidence. Speaking of confidence, watch Chris Bermudez just go straight through the legs of Dalton Pando. Gets fouled right outside of the area. Bermudez, just 19 years old, but still brings his dancing shoes to work every now and again. And gets taken down by Jerry St. Ville in the ensuing free kick. Straight into the head of Ricardo Gomez, the 23-year-old Georgia native. And Tormenta would be able to clear their lines. And Pablo Jara, for once in the first half, didn't have to deal with a set piece coming off of his line. Marco Micheletto had the first real chance of the game, forcing Dallas J into a big save. Shedding off a defender, showing great pace, and just putting his foot straight through the ball, but it was straight at Dallas J. And then Jake Keegan, all-time leading scorer in the history of Binghamton University, gets taken down and not too happy about it. Corner kick just a few moments later. Jara coming off of his line gets a strong punch to it. However, Jake Keegan would not be done, as he would put some great moves on and then get fouled right at the edge of the area just a few moments later, and then would put that shot just a few centimeters wide as Pablo Jara was scrambled off of his line and hoping that he didn't have to get a touch to it because he simply couldn't get to it. And there you have it from our outstanding crew, Ryan Rose, Jake McCloskey. Again, I'm Tyler Terrence. Thank you so much for tuning in wherever you might be tuning in. And we ask that for this second half, you turn off the world and turn on the game. 45 minutes to go, still looking for that first ever goal in the history of League One. Who is going to etch their name down in history? Just have to stick around and find out. Well, flip-flop halves. Tormenta in their navy and pink. Greenville in their all-white kits. John Hark's the head coach of Greenville Triumph FC. John Meloresi heading up Tormenta's charge in the 2019 season. It's Charlie Dennis. He had a solid first half. As Chris Hellman felt like he was bumped, but no call. And Amin Hadzic has called a relatively loose game, and now some loose conversation being had by Tyler Polak and Charlie Dennis as those two get after a little bit. Polak, let's just say he's the welterweight in that matchup. And Dennis, the ultra heavyweight. Polak surrendering probably about 4 or 5 inches, and that's generous, and maybe about 25 to 30 pounds as well. One by Seiler. Evan Lee stepping through. Polak stumbles. Fortunately, didn't give away possession in a relatively dangerous area. Now Greenville are breaking out. Tormenta thought they had the ball bottled up. So with Chris Bermudez, he was electric in the first half. But Greenville and Tormenta both looking for that final product in the final third, as it were, but eluding them, of course, in the first game of the season, specifically for Greenville, the first game in the history of the club. Tormenta a bit more seasoned than that. Their first season was back in 2016 and bring back a number of returning players. Well, that sort of all goes out the window when you're talking about the first game in league history, which is what we are talking about here tonight. Klaus wanted the return from Saul. He holds up play instead. Polak goes to ground. And the foul's going to be called against Polak, as, Hadzic didn't like the fashion of that challenge. Aaron Walker. Bermudez. Paul Klaus. Bermudez again. Ball just glued to his foot. Long range effort, blocked in front. Might be a second in it for Greenville. Gaderi showing good pace, but sealed off by Charlie Dennis and goes to ground with a wild challenge. And that forces the whistle from Amin Hadzic. And I would venture to say that Gaderi's lucky he didn't receive any disciplinary caution. Dennis just sort of shakes it off. Paul Klaus was asking for it in the middle of the field. He studied under the tutelage of Anthony Pulis when at OCB. As Pablo Har off of his line. St. Louis FC, where Anthony Pulis is now in the USL Championship, off to a terrific start. And actually #1 in the power rankings, according to John Arlia. And that's caught some flack over the past couple of weeks. Hashtag not my power rankings, I believe, is what's trending on Twitter. Not saying I disagree or agree one way or the other, just simply stating that there is a bit of controversy basically every week. Micheletto, he had that stinging effort that Dallas J was able to parry away in the first half, and Greenville able to deal with Micheletto appropriately. Tormenta threatening, Charlie Dennis, English native, goes through the legs of the defender. Pinballs around a bit, and Greenville come away with it. Look at Alex Morel sprint to go get the ball. Great motor on Morel. Micheletto wants it again. This time not finding the target. Dallas J says thank you very much. Mistake from Dennis. He's trying to atone for his sin. Bit sinful in that challenge. Polak staying on his feet and finding an outlet. Well done from Polak, the veteran. And getting stuck into the challenge on the near side. It looked like it was Alex Morel. And Evan Lee riding up the backside at Dennis, who's been on the receiving end of quite a bit of physical play in the opening 53.5 minutes or so. Awkward for Seiler. Now it's Paulitz. Vignal skipping away from trouble. He's been great on the ball when he's gotten it. Behooved Tormenta to find his feet a bit more, the Barcelona native. Dennis. Gentle, gentle first touch. Now driving forward with power and pace, but no precision in the shot. Gaderi runs into a challenge from Dennis. Wanted a call, but no sympathy from Amin Hadzic. Here's Morel, stood up by Paulitz. Good little matchup there. And Paulitz wins his 1v1 battle over on the far side. Here's Aaron Walker. Did well to get it back. Klaus lets one rip, and Hara makes a comfortable save in the end. I'm sure Tormenta not too happy with how calm, cool, and collected Greenville were in Tormenta territory on that particular sequence. Evan Lee wins the header, throwing for Tormenta as things are starting to open up a bit. Good technique from Klaus, got his body over the ball, puts his foot through it, but similar to Micheletto's shot in the first half, just straight at the keeper. Polak swings and misses on the challenge. It hits his hand. And now a free kick coming up for Tormenta via the handball from Polak. Hellman on the free kick just lofts it in, and Greenville handle it with relative ease. Here's Dennis on the turn, lashes one across, and Jay keeps it in play and wants to go quickly. Here's Gaderi. Good outlet finding Klaus in the middle of the field. Now over for Chris Bermudez. Good matchup with Dalton Pando. Bermudez lofts one in, one initially by Phelps. And it's a push in the back on Greenville and a free kick for Tormenta. Charlie Dennis is starting to find some nice pockets of space for Tormenta. Gaderi, Saul running with him. Now at the feet of Saul. Excellent skill cam. Saul lets it loose. Well, I'll tell you what, if that had found the back of the net, would have been quite the way to start the USL League One scoring, Bill. Gaderi. Chris Hellman jockeying with Evan Lee, the fourth official getting involved. Our head official does nothing about it. Meanwhile, Jake Keegan running out of room to chase that one down. Bermudez. Whenever he's been on the ball, Greenville have looked dangerous. Gaderi puts the emergency brake on. Saul, fending off two different Tormenta defenders, lays it off for Klaus. He threads one through. Jay Keegan trying to fight his way through. Good sliding challenge and good defending in the end from Tormenta. Not out of the woods yet. Walker trying to clip one through, still chasing after it, and Charlie Dennis with a little South Georgia sidestep played an hour of soccer in the history of USL League One, and we have an hour of scoreless soccer between Greenville and Tormenta. Again, Tyler Terrans on hand. Thank you so much for tuning in on this historic night, not only for soccer in the United States, but for the United Soccer League and for Statesboro, the first professional soccer game in more than 60 years. As Alex Morel looking to make something happen for Tormenta in the attacking third. Here's Micheletto. Around one defender, around two. Couldn't quite get around Klaus. Or pardon me, that was Aaron Walker. And we're going to have our first ever League One sub. And I hope the fourth official is going to hang on to that substitution card that Lucas Coutinho is handing him at the moment. And it's going to be Lucas Coutinho coming on for Dalton Pando. So Pando, who showed that great little glimpse in the first half, but really has not seen much of the ball or seen much any action in the past 50 minutes of playing time, replaced by Coutinho, the 25-year-old from Brazil, last seen with the Lakeland Tropics. Graduate of Palm Beach Atlantic, played with the South Florida Surf. He was an all-PDL member in 2016. And a very, very technical player. And a very big shout out to both Greenville and Tormenta, who made our lives a lot easier in preparing for this game. Bernadette from Tormenta and PR makeshift extraordinaire Doug Irwin, who's currently sitting in that chair while they continue to fill out their staff. Chris Bermudez towards the byline. Was he able to win a corner for Greenville? Yes, he was. Jay Keegan applauding his teammates' efforts. And a corner for the visitors. And statistician, producer, human being extraordinaire Ryan Rose letting me know that this is the fourth corner for Greenville, just one for Tormenta. At the near post, gets all the way through. Lee was trying to get a touch to it. Bermudez clips it in, not a bad idea, and it'll pop right back out to him. He's got space to play with. Bermudez parried in front by Hara. Still loose, Walker going for the curler, but couldn't quite wrap his hips around it. And a goal kick for the Chilean. Bit of a scramble in front for Tormenta. Now they want to go quickly. Hellman finding Dennis. Here's the substitute, Lucas Coutinho, looking to put his Brazilian stamp on the game. Coutinho, no relation to Felipe. Alex Morel, watched closely by two different Greenville defenders, squeezing his way through both of them. Polak getting a touch to it. Out wide for Dennis. Trying to get to the byline and around Evan Lee. Does well, squares it across. And it's terrific defending in the end from Kevin Paulitz. Tracking his runner the entire way. And that's got to make John Harks a happy man, knowing that even when one of his center backs and Evan Lee gets beat, that everybody else is staying sharp. like Greenville are getting set to make their first substitution. Here's another look at that sequence where Charlie Dennis got around Evan Lee and did really well, but check out the tracking from Paulitz, just staying in front of the Tormenta attacker right till the very last moment, and that's exactly what you're taught to do in that sort of position, is track the runner, specifically when they're making a vertical run. It was more horizontal just given where they were on the field, but Kevin Paulitz, fundamental to a T. We're being told that Carlos Gomez is going to come on for Greenville. Gaderi sealed off by the substitute Coutinho. See Gomez getting ready at the bottom of your screen briefly, having a chat with John Harkes. Coutinho, first time over the top. And that's tidy defending from Seiler. Great little layoff from Klaus. It's Gaderi now. Excellent work to find Bermudez. Gets it on that left peg of his. Saul lining up the header, but look at Charlie Dennis coming back and winning it for Tormenta. Polak getting stuck in. Dennis makes a disastrous mistake. Can Greenville capitalize? Gaderi, not this time. You saw Dennis was really frustrated with himself as soon as he gave the ball away and Polak was going in the other direction. He knew that that could have been a costly, costly mistake. Paulitz is going to take the space that's given to him. Nobody's stepping to him. Now finally Viñals does. That substitution we mentioned before is going to take place as Sammy Gaderi is going to make his way out. Carlos Gomez will come in. And Gaderi did a lot of defensive work and was dropping in, and that's what John Harkes told us his role was going to be, sort of tucked in behind Cameron Saul, who's responsible for that hold-up play. And now Gomez, the 25-year-old from Spain and a product of Young Harris, where so many great soccer players have come out of over the past 5 or 6 years, will make his way out onto the field in the first ever substitution in the history of Greenville Triumph Soccer Club in the 71st minute. He had 32 goals and 16 assists with the Lions in 3 years. All-American, All-Region.
Ladies and gentlemen, the attendance for tonight's game is 3,519. Thank you for coming out.
And as you heard the public address announcer, 3,519 is the attendance, and that is a sellout here on the campus of Georgia Southern University. And a League One record.
Nice pass.
Look at Micheletto through Pollock. Has Morel with him. Alex Morel finishes it off. First goal in League One history. It's for the home side, Tormenta. Micheletto sets up Alex Morel. And we are off and running in USL League One history. And that Tormenta FC goal presented by Alex Morel and South Beach Tanning Company. Most of the legwork was done by Marco Micheletto, the 23-year-old from Rome. Just tees up Alex Morel, and if he has that kind of space, he's been a proven goal scorer at the USL Championship level. Sees Dallas J off of his line, and that's really an outstanding finish. He had all the time in the world to think about where he wanted to put it, and makes no mistake about it. How will Greenville respond on the road? Bermudez whips one in. Jay Keegan couldn't get there. Saul bringing it down, trying to find Pollock. And Lars Eckenroe gets to it, and now Charlie Dennis has some room. Greenville starting to open things up as they trail 1-0 in the 74th. Dennis finding a man of history in Alex Morel. He's trying to cut it back, feeling a bit of confidence after scoring the first goal. And during all of the madness after the Alex Morel goal, they also brought on Mikey Rowe to replace Chris Hellman. Rowe, a 22-year-old from Wexford, Ireland. Last seen with Waterford Football Club. Also a product of Young Harris and was the D2 National Player of the Year in 2018. As Micheletto lets one fly, and easy work for Dallas J. And that man will have something to cherish for all his life. First goal in the history of a league. Something to be proud of as this one touched along and cleared away by Josh Phelps. And Tormenta now have the difficult task of trying to seal out a 1-0 victory or perhaps more over the course of the next 15 minutes. Aaron Walker setting up Vinyals. Now we're going to get a stoppage from Amin Hadzic.
31 in for 11 flags.
And Micheletto getting some help from his keeper, Pablo Jara. Just cramping up a bit here in the 77th. And we're getting word that Edmundo Robinson is going to come on. That'll be the second sub for Greenville.
Where's 11? Yeah, I see him. I'm trying to get 11.
Micheletto, who registered the first assist in USL League One history and really did the majority of the work, and now motioning for a substitution.
Number 31, Edmundo Robinson.
And Edmundo Robinson coming on and replacing Cam Saul here in the 78th. Robinson, actually a Georgia native from Stone Mountain, went to Queens College. South Atlantic Player of the Year in 2018. And played for SC United Bantams in the PDL, of course now League Two. Jad Arslan is going to replace Marco Micheletto. The Italian did extremely well in setting up Alex Morel. Will it prove to be the game winner? We'll have to stick around and find out, but for the moment, Arslan coming on in the 79th to replace Micheletto.
Substitution for Tormenta, number 21. Jad
Arslan, a 22-year-old Georgian native from Roswell. Been with Tormenta since 2016. Captain last year, graduate of West Virginia. Dallas J off of his line before Alex Morel can score his second and seal the deal for Tormenta. Somebody was motioning for a substitute on the Greenville side. A little difficult to tell exactly who it was. And we're going to have another stoppage as the cramping starting to creep in here in Statesboro. And this time it's the teenager from Union, New Jersey, Chris Bermudez. And Greenville basically saying we don't necessarily have time for this. We're down 1-0 on the road. We want to try to go get the equalizer. As he's going to find his way on the field. They're dropping like flies. And the athletic training staff on both teams getting their steps in for today. Alex Morel, a quick stretch and back on onto the field. And Travis Ward is going to replace Chris Bermudez.
Ward is coming in for number 7, Christopher Bermudez.
So Bermudez, who really was probably one of the best attacking players for Greenville on the night, sees his night come to a rather abrupt end here in the 81st and replaced by the new Egypt, New Jersey native in Travis Ward. Signed to the community tryout with Greenville. Here's Klaus. Here comes Alex Morel. Dennis. Greenville want the ball back. Alex Morel skips away from trouble. And Tormenta, the aggressor, and forcing the issue up 1-0 in the 82nd, knocking on the door of the 83rd. Viñals. Should be last touch off the Spaniard, and it is. Just out of the reach for Greenville. And Pablo Hara will keep the ball until somebody comes to him, and that's Jake Keegan. Polak. Evan Lee towards the back post. Tormenta want an offsides flag, and they're going to get one. So Greenville looking a little out of sorts in their attacking, and Tormenta with a 1-0 lead. Looking stout at the back, at least for the moment. All it takes is one unlucky bouncer, one moment of brilliance, though, and it would be a first win for Tormenta in the history of League One. And we'll get them off to a great start. Could just as easily be a point on the road for Greenville and a much more joyous 4-hour bus ride back to upstate South Carolina. Dennis jockeying with Seiler. Seiler with some fancy work to get out of trouble. St. Phil with a strong header. Mikey Rowe brings it down. Alex Morel on it now. Rowe getting forward on the overlapping run. Now 5 minutes remaining plus stoppage time. We have had a few cramps, so I have a feeling it'll be more than the 20 seconds we had at the end of the first half. Travis Ward bringing it down with a great first touch. Polak now. Numbers in the box for Greenville. Back for Ward. Ward gets the cross away. Phelps gets a touch to it. Ward steps through, the header, back heel, and it's cleared off the line. How did that not find the back of the net? Now the referee getting involved, St. Ville's header. Tormenta still struggling to clear it. And we're gonna get a stoppage. It looks like it's Lars Eckenrode or Phelps. That was a bizarre sequence. And this effort right in front. How's that for a save from Pablo Jara? A swiping foot. It looked for a moment like it was a defender because Jara had gone the complete other direction. I can tell you right now, that'll at least be a nominee for USL League One Save of the Week, if not the winner. Oh, that had to be the equalizer for Greenville. And it is Josh Phelps who's down for Tormenta. It looks like the Australian will be able to continue. And what a start it would be for Tormenta if they were able to get 3 points in the first game in the history of the league, a 1-0 win, albeit, but a gritty performance defensively. And it was always going to require at least one big save from Pablo Jara, and you just saw it. Paulitz, little 1-2 over on the far side. Greenville showing teeth here. Jara spills it, and a corner kick coming up for the Greenville Triumph. Lofted in, Jara stays home, and the free header wasn't free. Actually, it was Edmundo Robinson who was first to it for Greenville, but he just made a mess of it in the end. Looked like he mistimed it more than anything. I mean, watch Robinson just elevate above the pack, nobody marking up. St. Ville just went straight up, but it was Robinson who was the aggressor. That was a great chance again for Greenville to try to equalize. In the 90th minute now, I have a feeling we'll have at least about 3 or 4 minutes of stoppage time. It's a heavy challenge. And it is going to be a yellow card issued to Mikey Rowe. That's basically his first involvement. But his first challenge is going to be a yellow one.
Number 9 for Tormenta.
And it's going to be 5 minutes of stoppage time.
The fourth official has
One by
issued 5
Greenville.
minutes of stoppage time.
Everybody forward now for the visitors. Walker staying with it. It's a great hustle play. Can it turn into something for Greenville? A really late challenge from Lucas Coutinho. He's shown mustard. Now Alex Morel going down with his second cramp. More bodies hitting the deck in Statesboro.
22, Lucas Coutinho at Tormenta.
Paul Klaus trying to shake it off. Alex Morel getting stretched out. We're now officially into the fourth of 5 minutes of stoppage time. The clock moving painfully slow for Tormenta fans, excruciatingly fast for Greenville supporters. And the free kick really never posing any sort of threat to Tormenta as Aaron Walker just muscles Coutinho off the ball. Still up for grabs. Evan Lee sends it through. St. Ville had a little bit of work to do, gets it done. But it remains in Tormenta defensive third. Polak. He's trying to dink it through. And here comes a corner for Greenville, 95th minute. Is there late drama in the first ever game in the history of League One? Polak. Won by Akenroad. Walker just tried to muscle it through. Stays with it. Referee says play on. Seiler. Well, now Greenville want the foul. They're not going to get it from Amin Hadzic. And Seiler's going to leave it. They want the long throw-in opportunity. Paulitz has that in his bag. Evan Lee trying to help it along. It was right at his feet, but he had no idea where the ball was. Polak beating Dennis to the ball. The sliding challenge put in by Arslan. And he just mashes it towards the corner. Dallas J to take the throw in. The Triumphers scrambling. But right now it's Tormenta who's triumphing over Greenville. Brought down by Seiler. Maybe one last chance in it for the visitors. Robinson gets the cross away. St. Ville clears it away. It remains with Greenville. Almost into the 6th minute of stoppage time. Won by Seiler. Lee up for it again, still loose in the box. Seiler couldn't quite get a foot to it. Full time. 3 points for Tormenta. First 3 points in the history of USL League One. It wasn't easy by any stretch of the imagination for John Melaresi. But a win is a win is a win. And especially a 1-0 win at home in front of a sellout crowd here in Statesboro means that much more to get started in the inaugural League One season. Alex Morel's first goal in the history of the league stands to be a game winner, as it was a 72nd minute strike set up by Marco Micheletto. And the Tormenta fans will have plenty to party about. It'll be a long 4-hour bus drive back to upstate for Greenville. A disappointing start, but as John Harks told us, there are going to be bumps along the way, especially with a new expansion side. We'll step aside South Georgia Tormenta FC with the first win in the first game in the history of the league. Alex Morel with the game winner. Greenville still looking for the club's first goal. And Pablo Jara gets the clean sheet to boot. We'll step aside. 1-0 is the final score from Georgia Southern University. Don't go anywhere. We'll put a bow on it when we come back.
A sports injury can stop you in your tracks. At Optum Orthopedics, our specialized physicians and staff use advanced orthopedic procedures with one specific goal in mind: to get you back to you. If you have a sports injury, request an evaluation. Experience the Optum difference.
The party has officially begun in Statesboro. South Georgia Tormenta FC with a 1-0 win over Greenville Triumph Soccer Club in an epic first game in the League One history. It was ground out by this Tormenta side, who looked stout defensively. The substitutes came on and made an impact, including Mikey Rowe, albeit a yellow card was his biggest impact of the game. And we'll take a look at how it all went down. Again, Tyler Terrence on hand. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're just tuning in, we'll help you out a little bit with some post-match highlights. And in the first half, there wasn't a ton to talk about. Micheletto, who you'll hear a lot more from over the course of this highlight package, getting a stinging shot on Dallas J, but easy work for the former Phoenix Rising Football Club keeper. And then Greenville would have their fair share of physical play as well as dangerous play throughout the course of the first half and into the second. This is a good opportunity from Jake Keegan that flew past the far post as Greenville Triumph were unable to find the back of the net in their first 90-plus minutes of existence, but we did see some electric play from the likes of Chris Bermudez, Jake Keegan, Cam Saul with some good hold-up play. Sammy Gaderi was excellent coming back and receiving the ball and trying to connect the dots. Dallas J not having any of that and didn't need to make a save on it. Charlie Dennis was very technical on the ball and did a lot of good things. That shot wasn't exactly one of them, but Tormenta players are just sort of calibrating and getting a feel for the game as the night went on. Dennis again on the turn, working on Cole Seiler. Easy work for Dallas J. Charlie Dennis again working on Evan Lee this time, and it was Kevin Paulitz who made a terrific sliding defensive play to make sure that they couldn't find it. And then 70th minute, Alex Morel, first goal in League One history. Thank you very much. And Marco Micheletto with a nutmeg right before that and some really good on-the-ball work to be able to find Alex Morel. And that would be the game winner and give Tormenta their first win in League One. And we would finish with a result in this first ever match in the history of League One. And as you can see, not too many shots on target for either team. I mean, look at Greenville's numbers, 14 shots, only 2 of them finding the target. One of them in particular, Pablo Jara, got an excellent foot to the ball, and that was the big save that Tormenta needed in order to hang on. As Alex Morel will be able to sleep well tonight. He was cramping up a bit towards the end. It was a hard night's work for Tormenta, but it all pays off as they come away with a 1-0 win and give these supporters something to cheer about. It was a sellout crowd, a little bit north of 3,500 on Georgia Southern University's campus. The final score from Statesboro, Tormenta FC 1, Greenville Triumph SC 0 in the first ever game in League One history. Thank you for tuning in, folks, and we will talk to you soon.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League League One cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League League One.